We're back.
We're back. We made it. We traveled long distance. I'm just being
Yeah, we took a 10-minute
ridiculous.
break.
Yeah, we made it back in 5 seconds. Yeah, I don't. I'm kind of hungry. I'm not gonna lie. It just hit me. I was like, should I eat a snack? I don't know. Before we recorded, I went walking, and I took this like break mentally from exercising. That sounds kind of weird, but I had used exercise as like a form of punishment, I guess. Like my goals around exercising in my body were very, very different for many, many years. And then I took this like break around it, and it ended up being like kind of too far of a break. If that makes, like, I went to a place where then I wasn't like really moving my body like I would desire to move my body, and so I've been back into the swing of things in a very healthy mindset. And like, I was actually just telling somebody about, we've talked on here too about journaling, and like, I just got a new traveler's journal, and I was really excited. I was putting it together, and they were asking like, well, what do you journal about? And I think it's just a funny question, because I mean, it's a great question, but it was just funny to me because I'm like, whatever the hell I want, I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever comes to I'm like, you really don't want to know what I journal about because a lot of it's fucked up. But I was like, and then I was telling them about like the idea behind mind, body, soul. And I was like, I'm just where I'm working, I work remote, and I noticed I wasn't really moving even as much as I would like to move. I've been upping some of my walks, and it's been amazing because I haven't felt tired or drained. I'm not in pain. It's not like, this is just taking forever, whatever. And so anyways, I went and worked out, but I potentially did not eat breakfast. And it wasn't like I was trying to avoid food, but just we slept in, and then I knew I was going to record. And so I'm like, I was like, I really need to go to the gym. I definitely want to get this in today. And before I recorded, and then Blake cooked breakfast for the kids and himself. And by the time I got back, it was gone. And then they left. So poor planning on my part, but I potentially might be a little hungry. So
that's okay. If you need a snack, we can get one.
Yeah, I'm at snack break
between.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, I've been like, as far as food, I've only been eating like once a day, maybe a little snack here, because I've always felt that, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we eat too much.
Yeah.
Like we don't need as much as, and it's funny because I was listening to a podcast a couple weeks ago, and I can't remember all his credentials. He's some doctor, but he's got like a PhD, but he's also into the metaphysical world, and that's what he was talking about, is like even overconsumption of the body, what you're taking in. And so and it's been interesting because I mentally think I need it. Like yesterday, I went golfing. I hadn't eaten since I ate the day before around 5 o'clock. So, and I got kind of like, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to make it through this, without something?
Yeah.
And it's mental. And like, as soon as I was like tuning into my body, and my body was like, we're fine. And I did just fine, until I got home yesterday afternoon and ate again. So I've been basically trying to just give myself a window between 12 and 6 in the day to eat, and then nothing after that. And I felt really good doing it. So yeah, I'm with you. I don't know. It's been a journey, and it's been a journey with food and like the diet culture. We've talked about this in previous episodes too. And I feel very similar, where I just go based on my intuition of what I need. Like, I'm not punishing myself. I'm not harming myself. I'm not over consuming. And there are times where I want to over consume, and that's what that's going to happen, and so like, but then I'm not mad, or there's no guilt and shame around it, right? Or there's no punishment that comes from it, whether it be exercising or then I don't eat because of that, and so I've rewired and trained my brain around this. And so like, I really wasn't hungry
until like just then, you know, and so even after the exercise and, you know, I'm drinking Diet Coke right now or Coke Zero right now, but I was drinking water and like it was enough. It was enough for me and to fuel myself. So I'm with you. But it hit me. So I felt it crumble. I was like, oh, there you are.
That's how it was for me yesterday. And then when I tuned into my body, it just started to go away. It was really interesting. It's like, what signal is this? Is this a programming signal? And that one was for me, right? Like, because a lot of times, even intuitively, I've been guided to like work with clients or even do our podcast on an empty stomach. Because it's like, I feel like my vessel is more clear that way. The information comes through differently. So I don't know. There's something to it. I even think like, and he even talked about this. I can't remember what he exactly said around it, but basically, you know, we've been told for years breakfast is the most important meal of the day. That's not true. Like that's old processes, old programming. And that actually came from a campaign. Oh, I remember now. See, there. He said it came from a campaign from Kellogg's, from cereal, right? When they started doing cereal. Yeah. And so we adopt these things because, you know, of that marketing campaign years and years ago.
Yeah, so. I agree. And it's interesting because like I've also been listening into Magnolia's body, like because this is a whole new journey that I am now involved in, or I was like, wow, I never really thought about this side of parenting. And like, you know, she's done some summer camps and, you know, we'll talk and you know, well, I'll ask like, hey, do you want breakfast or whatever? And then she might say, no, not right now or whatever. And I'm not fighting her about it, you know, or whatever. Like, so it's been really interesting. And there's been a couple mornings where she's chosen to not eat. And I've been so worried. I'm like, my gosh, like, what if she's hungry? What if, you know, da, 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 da. And then, you know, I was talking to Blake about it and he said something similar. He's like, well, you know, she'll be okay. Like if she was truly hungry and there, you know, I packed her lunch, there's snacks, there's food provided, she has water, she has everything, but I don't know. I didn't force it either. You know, we didn't like fight about it. I didn't
like you have
so
to
I don't
eat.
know. Yeah. Like you have to eat, you know?
Yeah.
Because like I just have found myself really talking to her more intuitively around like emotional eating, where it's more like when she's bored and wants to eat, you know? And so it's like, are we bored or are we hungry or do we need to redirect our attention else or what are we doing? And so it's been mostly like tuning into that and like navigating that more than like you need to eat now, you know, or whatever.
Yeah,
so
I think that's good.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't what we're talking about today, but that was a great conversation.
That was a great conversation.
Great opener.
Yeah, I like that. That was a good opening
This is going to be so good because everybody loves this topic.
Yeah.
The money topic. Everybody does.
Yes.
You know, I've worked with clients now for well over a decade, and one of the biggest challenges most of us have is around money.
Yeah.
Fear of money. How do we get money? Money equals freedom, security, so many things to us. So I was really excited when Myra brought this topic up and a different way to approach money and look at money.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So I thank you for the intro.
I
looked up his name because I want to credit the original creator because I did not come up with this. This was created by Ning Lee, and his program is called Inner Child Alchemy, and he has a TikTok. He might have a YouTube channel now. I'm not actually sure, but I love his videos. He really focuses on the inner child alchemy, obviously, and rewiring and reparenting your inner child. I love his meditations. I've done several of them. He has a very unique approach. I love his energy. And it was really interesting. I was actually watching one video and in the comments, somebody asked about this specific exercise and he's like, I have it pinned. And so I went and watched the pinned video. So I'm glad this person commented because I had not seen that. Just the way content shuffles and the way algorithms work. We all know that, you know, you get served different things, but he does have an entire program on this. And he has a whole workbook around it too. So go check him out if you want more info. But I just wanted to share it because in the video, he does draw this out and he talks about it just like this. So this is, you know, here, but I just want to credit Ning Lee.
Yeah.
This is not a Myra original, but I did take it into my own place. So what it's called, he names it money bending, like BENDING, bending 101. And you create a diagram called the river of money. And I just was so drawn in immediately because like usually I read when I walk, which is kind of weird too, but I was watching TikTok this time while walking but this was good. I'm like, this is a good consumption. I enjoy this. So I was listening and watching him talk, and I was telling Tressa what I really like about this, and I want to preface this first before I actually show the diagram, is that I had never really thought about the ways that I bring in money in this way, or like the way money exits versus like a budget spreadsheet or like a budgeting app or like listing out finances or whatever. Like I had never ever thought of it this way, and I just don't know why. Maybe others think of it this way, but I just didn't. And so it was so cool because it rewires the way money is flowing in versus just what you have to pay in your expenses that you pay out, right? And so I'll show the map now. So what he has here is like, or what this is my version, but so in his version, this is my version, but what you do first is you draw yourself. So you are in the middle. So like I'm Myra, obviously. And then if you work for a company, so like whatever business you work for, if you work for me, I work for a finance company. So I've put their initials here. If you work for a construction site, you would put that there. Or wherever you bring in your most revenue.
The bulk of your revenue.
The bulk of your revenue, your money coming in. If you don't work for a company and you own your own business, this could be there too. This would be applicable to you and how you receive income. And but the number one spot you want it in this little kind of vicinity. So I have the brand that I work for in the company. And then these little baby arrows here are like all of the people who come into the business from reading an article, getting an email. If you work for a business that sells a product, so people purchasing the product, those little arrows are all the people that supply that business money that feeds money into me because I'm going to generate revenue, or I'm generating my own revenue, right? I'm bringing in money based on them generating their own revenue, right? Like the business needs to make money to pay me. And so like all those little people matter. So, and then you have an arrow that feeds into you and who you are. Now, for me personally, I just put like my brand and business in this other big circle. And I also, when I was doing this, took this into an approach of like what I would like for this to look like. So you could call this manifesting, but I drew this as if this was already happening, right? Like this like to me, present tense. And so I made this one a little bigger, and I put the podcast, if I had any brand deals, and then like I even included the TikTok too, because the one thing that the guy said that I really loved is visibility equals money. Eyeballs equal money. Like every time someone listens to our podcast, that generates money, or the energy of money, the flow of money, right? Every time you're seen. So like if you have your own, so if you work for a company and then have a side hustle here, for example, and you may like posted something about your esthetician business or your massage business or whatever, like that could be some of those like, so like there's arrows coming in, like you have your people coming into the business, and then I had like these little arrows for eyeballs and views. And then those arrows feed into me also. And then the other one I put in here that I wrote in present tense is I've been really working this year on focusing how I'm bringing in money. And so for me, this is one of those things where I have felt it and I feel like it's coming from, I've had confirmation elsewhere. And then I feel this is what my guides are telling me too, is that I need to utilize what I already have. Like I think about the saying, it's kind of like if you're into tarot and you think about the magician, like as so above, so below or whatever, like you're utilizing your own skill set, right? Yes. And so like this is me utilizing the marketing and branding skills that I have and marketing myself. So this could be like another form of a business, right? But I put it in its own little separate category here. Yeah. And then I have like more arrows. But the cool part then, so once you've done all that, you map it out, and then
you're in the middle, all your money sources
you're in the middle,
around.
And then all of my money sources are around.
Okay.
Then you put like your expenses. And so like if it's your mortgage is your biggest expense, you would maybe draw a bigger arrow, or if you pay rent or whatever it is, or if you live in a camper or whatever. If you own your home and your car is your biggest payment, your car. If you, but I also want to preface this, you need to be honest. We're being honest with ourselves when we're doing this, because you need to map it out and visualize it. And then you get into the inner work that I'll get into in just a second.
Okay.
So we need to be honest. So if you have a credit card bill that is eating up your or debt of some sort, you need to put that in here and be honest about it. Like it's, where are you spending your money? Honestly, some people overspend on groceries. Maybe their biggest expense is groceries or whatever. Put that in there. So once I did my biggest expenses, then I did do arrows around, like I put my utility bills. I put, I have like debt that I'm paying. So I put a big arrow for that. I'm being honest with it. And then I put like my kids' activities. That's a pretty big expense for me. I pay a lot. My daughter's in horseback riding lessons and she does this or that, or childcare falls into that category for me. So I put that there. And then this is where you're also doing the inner work, where if you spend, like he used the word vice, if you have a vice, and I don't know, I kind of prefer vice rather than like, or like a habit. I don't know. You really have to look at where else you're spending. And so if you choose to purchase and buy alcohol every single day, you would need to put that as an expense. If you choose to, if you're a shopaholic, or like you overspend on clothing or something like that, or you can recognize it. And so like I told Tressa, I've been really working on overspending and just buying based on emotions and just like running around. And so my arrow is actually smaller than what it would have been maybe a year and a half ago. But I still did put emotional spending because it's still something that I catch myself working on. If you you like to golf and you spend a ton of money on golf clubs and clothes, like that could be an example. Like these are just examples, like cigarettes, alcohol, clothes, shoes, animal. Whatever. If you own a damn farm and you got or whatever, and you're like, it's not a necessity, but you go out and buy horses every other week. Maybe it's a horse. I don't know. And just trying to think like, I don't know, people have their own biases. And so you list all of these things out. And then this is where the work starts happening. And then in his workbook and videos, he goes into this even deeper. But you start really reassessing the way that you feel about it. So like, okay, I would look at the bubble around my job. I would start there. How do I feel about working in this role? How do I feel about making money this way? Do I feel that I'm paid fairly? Do I feel that I'm being valued? What are the feelings and emotions that are happening around this? And he brought up the example of like, I have to work hard to earn money. Like maybe that emotion comes up, or worthiness, worthy around receiving the money. If you desire more money in your career, but you're afraid of being seen, fear around being seen, leadership, growth, whatever, you start identifying these things as you start navigating how you feel emotionally around this map. And so when you start like getting deeper into it, then you go, so first you focus on actually how you're bringing money in, how you feel about those things. And, we talked a couple episodes ago about Dharma, and he mentioned Dharma.
Yeah.
Are you living your Dharma? What are the emotions around these things? Are there any blocks, any feelings? I like the one about being seen because like on the podcast, like we're seen on the podcast, we're heard on the podcast. How do we feel about that? Like, do you have any blocks or feelings or emotions around your voice being heard? There's a whole thing to think about. Then you get into the way the money is coming out. So the flow of money. And again, this is the river of money. So how does it come in and how is it flowing out and back through and around, right? And so when you pay your mortgage, or you pay your rent, or you pay your car, or you pay a bill, a debt, your credit card, whatever, one of those expenses, how do you feel about it? Do you like where you live? And I actually, when he's talking about that, I'm like, that's a really cool, like, it's really like thinking about it psychologically. Like, are you like, damn, this is so expensive. I hate where I'm paying for this shithole of a place. You know what I mean? Like those are real emotions around like the way your money is flowing out. Am I crying because I have to pay for horse lessons? You know what I mean? Or like, and then like the vices or like the other things that are taking like the vampires. I mean, that's an energy vampire of money. Like, you know, where other things are leaking. How do you feel about those things? And why am I emotionally spending? Like, and then you start doing the unraveling of it. Like you start really going through emotionally. And he focuses on the example of I have to work hard to make money. And we've talked about it a lot. You know, this is a very common thing that a lot of us have been programmed to believe. A very American thing, I feel like, too. He is Chinese and he talked about it from the Chinese culture and the Chinese perspective. And I just want to share this story and then I'll stop my monologue. But it was really cool because he started talking about this. And I have heard the I have to work hard to earn money phrase my whole life. It's something that I've worked on reprogramming and have worked on really like getting to the bottom of and like thinking about and like healing my own inner child, because this is where his inner child alchemy comes into play. You start healing these beliefs by going back and you meditate and revisit that child and you reparent them, right? But he shared a story and I can actually relate to the same story. So I want to share the story. He did not have to study hard to be successful in school. I did not have to cry or like die on a hill of some like show self-sacrifice or like oh my gosh, my grades or whatever. I didn't have to do any of that. It came very naturally to me. I enjoyed school. I could pick things up and then I could, you know, I did study and I did take it seriously, but there wasn't like this outward expression of like Myra suffering through school, right?
Yeah, it was easy.
It was
fairly easy for you.
It was very easy for me to, and honestly, I find that in my life, it is easy for me to be successful. And I own that and I believe that. And that's just me being authentic about what I know is easy for me. I have a sibling who it was not easy for. My parents would pay my sibling money every time they were successful.
Like to get good grades and those kind of things? Yeah.
Yes. And, you know, the creator, Ning shared the same kind of story about he had a sibling same way. And oh my gosh, when he shared that, I was like, I had never thought about that. And it was wild because, see, my father, he started working when he was 13 years old. Hard work is like the number one thing instilled in all of our brains. I believe in a work ethic. I believe in doing your very best. But, you know, I've shared on here too before my springboard story of having to like die on this hill to like be successful. And like, that's not a part of my narrative anymore. And I had a rebirth of my identity and I had to let beliefs go and I had to let a lot of shit go. And it was very painful and I had to start from zero. Right. And so like I had to go through that. And so now I'm on the other side of it. But this sibling that was literally rewarded to like die on this hill for success and to like be painfully just destroyed. He was literally compensated for it. And my sibling, he would have done great. He would have been successful probably without it, right? Like he desired to do good. But it just was a struggle and they rewarded the struggle.
Yes. Yeah.
And I 100%. I'm like, oh my God. And this sibling has like multiple businesses and they die for the struggle. I contacted them and I was telling them about what I listened to. And they were out working in the middle of the night. And they go, oh my God. I'm like, yeah. Have you ever wondered why you have 5 million jobs and like you feel love, you feel worth, and you feel success because you were literally conditioned.
Yeah.
To
especially
show the pain.
By your parents, right?
Yeah.
When, especially at that age, you're fully dependent on them. So you try to really adapt to what they're teaching you, right?
Yeah.
That's powerful. Wow.
So that's my story. So I know this went long, but like this was good. I thought it was good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. A couple of things as you were talking, I wanted to share. I looked this up because when you're talking about like my corporate job, one of the things that's interesting, and when I think about an energy leak is, you know, until last year, we as a company outsourced our social platforms. We took those back in to the company. And since the beginning of the year, everything has increased hugely on our social platforms since my team started doing it. Some of them have gone up. I had the stats here over 600%, 500%, 200% on different engagement levels, right?
Yeah.
What is so interesting is because we took the energy back, right? We know our brand. We know our purpose. We are doing it through heart energy. We love the company we work for.
Yep.
And that is shown in these statistics, right? There was an energy leak there. And I didn't even think about it really until you started talking about it. And it's interesting because we pulled these statistics just a few days ago and not even realizing how the performance has shifted, right? And then I think about, I've told my clients this for years when they come in with money. Everybody's always concerned with money. Think of the energy you feel when you're giving it out. If you're at the gas pump and all you're doing is, I can't believe how expensive this is, this sucks, that's the energy you continue to put out. But if you just use your debit card and you're like grateful for the gas and grateful that you get to go wherever you're going in your vehicle, that's a different energy. And the other one that you talked about, I thought about, was your home, right? So many people, because we've been programmed with this, and this was one of my programmings, right? My home is very conservative. It's quite small. I used to always be like, I want a bigger home. I want this. I want that. And I've really shifted. I love my space. I love, why would I need anything bigger than what I have? There's 2 of us and 2 dogs. I would just be more maintenance, more time, more cleaning. I have really started to approach it differently. This space gives me joy, and I'm in an area where I don't have neighbors and I have trees all around me and I have a beautiful view and I get to enjoy this space. But prior to my mind shift, it was always I wanted something bigger, different, better. It's kind of like the analogy of, we always think the grass is greener. And I'm like, why did I even think I needed something different? I didn't. It wasn't Tressa who needed it when I tuned in. It was the energy that I got from everybody else that I allowed to tell me, this is what success looks like. This is what joy looks like. This is what, you should desire. But when I took the time to go inside, it was no, I'm perfectly happy where I'm at. So I think it's a cool concept. I'm going to do my diagram after this. I'm excited.
Yeah. It was fun. I mean, I actually enjoy, I made mine colorful for those that watch the YouTube video. I thought about I actually thought about the colors I even gave the circles. Purple's my favorite color, so I made myself purple. Yeah. And so I wanted to be purple and I made the podcast purple. You know what I mean? The things that brought me joy, I made purple. And so other things I kind of thought about, as I'm looking at honing and utilizing the skills I have with my marketing knowledge and branding knowledge, I made that one more green because I want it to be lucrative. I don't know. It was just it was really fun. And I made certain things pink, and this just came to me. So maybe I need to share it. But I was pulling Oracle cards the other day again, because this is just what I do. And I was in my dragon cards, and I haven't been in my dragon cards in a little bit. I go through phases of just what I'm drawn to. And I pulled the Alpha Dragon, the Omega Dragon, and Source Dragon. They all 3 flew out at the same time, which was crazy. They were not I shuffle my deck. They're not stuck, they're not together. And I have just been really, really well, that was weird. I was okay, because the Alpha Dragon is more masculine energy. The Omega Dragon is feminine energy, and Source is the highest of all. And it's when you use them together, right? So I was, first I'm damn, am I being called above? Hello, I'm just kidding. But I was okay. So I actually went into a conversation yesterday about the fractional type work, or I went and met with this individual, and they have a very, very, very masculine energy, and I think they're receptive, but the hierarchy, I think it's hierarchy of needs, where they need proof or whatever the term is. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. it's like this, I think it's 6 or 7 basic human needs. So they need safety and security, probably.
Safety and security, yes. Yeah. And so I knew that. And so before I entered the meeting, I remembered pulling the cards, right? And I caught on the dragon energy, and I like imagined both, the masculine side with the alpha. I imagined my feminine side, the left, with the omega. And then I imagined source above all. And like, I could like feel I feel it now, actually. I have chills. I could feel the energy coming in on both sides. And I asked them to be with me, like be on one shoulder, literally, like a little devil and a little angel. But like, like not like, but and the conversation went really well. I feel that instead of me trying to prove myself, like that I knew what I was talking about, I met it with a softer energy. I mean, I held the masculine energy when I needed to be direct and to state what needed to be stated, because it's business, right? I'm doing a business decision. It's very masculine energy. But instead of like proving myself, that I felt the, omega, the feminine energy flowing through to be a partnership. Like, because I knew something told me, like my guides, that's the something told me before I went in, like they're going to need this to feel like a partnership or collaboration, because they've never done this before. Right. They don't know what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. And what's actually interesting is in the conversation, I was just very honest and very authentic. I'm like, I've never done this before either. Like, I have never taken this out of this box and done it like this. And I said, so this is also new to me. So there was no like proving that I knew more or demanding that I knew better or that I had it all figured out. I even admitted I don't have it all figured out. Like, and that's just me being honest, because I've shifted the energy of needing to walk out with a win, in quotes, or whatever. And I changed the energy that I went in with, and I could feel the energy shift as I exited. And like, I've heard feedback from the conversation from another individual who met with them after, and the way they perceived me was exactly what I wanted to be perceived as, without me having to demand that perception, because I was just authentic.
Because you were authentic. That was the key.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the key. And they'll respond to that well. I'm guessing. I love that.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, anything else before we close this one?
No, I know it went long, but it was
bad. By the time we take out our ums.
The ums, trust me, it'll come out. Yeah.
Well, until next time, keep your vibrations way high.
And stay sassy.